Hi there. I'm Christine Zips with another message for anyone who loves a child. I'm thinking that might take into consideration just about every one of us. But today I'm kind of following up on a bit of a series about Wi-Fi in schools. I've done a couple of others that started back around the beginning of this last school session last August. And now that we're into February, we're about, 6 months since the starting of school. And many of you are aware, you've reached out to me, and I'm very grateful for that, that more and more are open to considering and even aware of the health impacts to our children inside their classrooms from wireless technology, from the devices that you'll find there, like the commercial grade routers, sometimes known as access points. They're mounted in the ceiling above their heads. They'll also find there wireless laptops, iPads, whiteboards, a lot of times virtual reality headsets, and many schools will allow students to have their phones on. I do believe more and more are banning them, which is definitely good news. Not only are they distracting for the teacher and for themselves, takes away from the learning experience, but it contributes to the cumulative load from the microwave radiation that is emitting from these devices. And since our children absorb up to 10 times more radiation than adults, this is a big concern when you consider that they spend some 5 days a week, 6 hours a day for their school, however long their school career lasts, and that's a lot of accumulation. There have been thousands of peer-reviewed published scientific studies that have shown that this is harming their bodies, their brains, and future generations. It's impacting fertility. The girls are born with all the eggs they'll ever have, and this radiation is going through their bodies and through the eggs. So obviously that would be impacting their ability to conceive, to carry to full term, healthy pregnancies. Same with boys. This radiation is impacting their reproductive organs as well. So we have a lot to be concerned about. There are solutions, and one thing that I'd like to mention that this radiation is impacting every living being on the planet, but especially our children who are more vulnerable. They have developing blood-brain barriers, their immune system. This is going in and damaging DNA. There's just real reasons that we want to be aware that this is happening. It's happening without their consent, without their parents, without your consent, and teachers are being impacted as well. I hear all the time from teachers, and they tell me that the children are reporting to nurses with nosebleeds and ear bleeds and fainting, even passing out. I understand some schools encourage the nurses not to necessarily share this information with parents, which I find very alarming if that is true. Again, I've heard these stories, so I'm just sharing. Since I've been looking into this for the last several years, the EMF health impacts from EMFs from wireless technology. And as you know, this is proliferating in our society. I understand there are more devices on this planet than people now. So we've got 5G around the bend, what's going to be with their millimeter waves, which is going to be pretty much like what we're experiencing now, which is alarming, concerning enough, but crank that up about 10 times, and we have something to really be aware of. But I'd like to share with you a little lighter note that some of the symptoms, and I'll share a link below along with some other related information. I've shared this before, but these are some symptoms that you might be on the lookout for with your child mentioning. And there'll be a link to this flyer below from the Association of Children for Safe Technology. They put this great flyer out. So it mentions all of these different symptoms. But also I've put together a handout. It's a double-sided one-page handout that's the risks of school Wi-Fi exposures, why parents should care. I'd like to tell you also that we are growing a wonderful group called Wired Schools. We're just getting going this new year, getting started. We're going to be having our first kickoff roundtable that'll be held on Zoom. It'll be starting off with a presentation from two dynamic parents, Nicola Lake and Brian Dobbs. Nicola's in Colorado, Brian's in Maryland. They've both been very active in their school systems on behalf of their children to try to raise awareness and gather more interest in their communities. So since we all are better together, that the philosophy behind this group is that we share what we're doing, what brought us here, what's working, what's maybe not working so well, so we can all benefit to be stronger in our own, with our own efforts in our own communities. So in this group we have, of course, moms and dads, teachers, grandparents, some experts, and I'm going to be calling upon experts to join us in these roundtables, which will be recorded, and all of the members of the group are invited to join us. We'll start off with a presentation, and then we'll follow with question and answer period for about a total of an hour. So this is going to be really, really great. Looking forward to having our first session on the 19th. And I'll be sending out information about the timing of that and how to join in if you would like to. There's no charge to belong to the group, but I hope you'll consider actually joining our group. And if you are interested, if you just kindly send me an email address, you'll see my email address, an email message to my email address you'll see posted below, and just put Wired in the subject line and I'll get your name added, send you confirmation along with a link to this handout that you might like to print out and share with others in your community. So thank you very much for your time and consideration. I hope to hear from you, and bye for now.